Hey everybody, I got a special treat today. I'm here with the one and only Nick Nimmin. Nick, it's a pleasure to have you here today.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Gord, man. I really appreciate it.
This is awesome. What we're going to do today is we're going to talk about how to edit videos faster. And you know, Nick has that magical delivery style, and we're going to learn a bit how he puts everything together to produce his finished product. And you're going to learn some neat tips. So Nick, can you start out by telling us, what do you do to generate your ideas? Like, how do you keep your flow going? Because you produce a lot of videos every week, right?
Yeah, I do. I do 2 uploads per week, and I do a live stream as well. So when it comes to actually coming up with the video ideas themselves, at this point in time, I can pull them from the comment section, because I know the questions that people want answers to, so I can pull it from the comment section. In addition to that, I go to autocomplete on YouTube. Yeah, I go to autocomplete on YouTube, and I go and I look for things that people might be looking for, problems that they're trying to solve. So I'll do that, and I'll make content that I feel needs to be on YouTube, or that people need to see as well from time to time.
Are there other influencers or people that have big channels like you that sometimes you get inspired by topics that they cover, that you get triggered, or is it mostly from your loyal fan base that communicates and you connect with?
It's mostly from the fan base, and for autocomplete. Like when I look at other people's channels, I'm not there surfing for ideas. You can do that, right, and that's a great way to to source ideas. But I try to not copy, specifically what it is that somebody else is doing, for the sake of, being original, putting out things that are a direct fit for the people that are watching my videos. Because even though we might have similar channels, or I might have a similar channel to somebody else in my niche, I know my audience.
Yeah.
So I make content specifically for them.
Yeah, because you do a lot of cool topics where you take lists of different things, and I don't see anyone sort of put together the kind of lists that you do. It's very unique, and I really enjoy that.
Yeah, and in addition to that, because in my live streams, I have a lot of people asking me questions about OBS live streaming and stuff like that. So because of that, I had to make some OBS videos so that I could answer those questions for the people that are watching my content as well.
Yeah, so I can imagine when you do live stream for hours, you must get all kinds of questions.
Yeah, and, absolutely.
And then so you also record the chat with your OBS and how you do things. So when it actually disappears, you actually have record of it to go back.
Right. Well, plus it's saved on YouTube.
Yeah.
It saves on YouTube too. So when you go live, YouTube itself also saves that copy on YouTube. You just have to make sure that you have it set that way in your settings. But yeah, YouTube will actually hold that copy for you, and then you can just go back in and hit publish and actually publish it as a video. Okay,
so next step, you've got a nice source of ideas. Now we got to get to the stage where, okay, you got to make it happen. So do you write a detailed script or an outline, and how long do you take to put something together before you're ready to press the record button?
Sometimes it'll take me 2 minutes to put something together.
Really?
Sometimes I won't write any scripts or any bullet points or anything down. I'll just say I want to talk about this, and then I'll just go in and do it. Other times I'll write down, like 5 bullet points, or 10 bullet points, or 3 bullet points, or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I'll just freestyle from there.
Okay, so were you always that way?
No. I used to write scripts. Basically, when I first started on YouTube, I had to where I thought that everything needed to be a certain way, versus I'm just going to do it my way, right? And when I was doing that, I thought, okay, well, I need to make sure I'm saying everything perfectly,
right?
I need to make sure, I need to make sure, right. I need to make sure I'm covering it all. I need to make sure I'm saying everything perfectly. And it was so ridiculous that I would even script in like jokes, like pause here, then say this.
Really?
And then I mean, I
haven't got to the level of doing that. When I script my stuff, I rehearse it many times. I know where all the pauses are, where the emphasis is, and so I'm comfortable with the teleprompter. But I never thought about actually. I don't think that much about the humor side to script things in. But that's pretty interesing. But okay,
yeah, I had to get away from that because
in order to produce more.
Right. Well, not just to produce more, but with YouTube, there's a really strong element of emotion that people connect to, and when you're reading a script, you just can't do that. You can't make that connection, because they're basically, you're essentially creating a wall between you and the people that are watching your videos.
Right. Like here right now, I'm totally unscripted for me, which is a great thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm with Nick, and I'm comfortable to do this. Finally. So okay, so so you get ready very quickly, whereas like I spend all of this time in like research and refining things, but with certain choreographed tutorials and stuff where I'm not face on camera, you know, that requires its extra work and research to do. But when you want to do tips of videos and get certain messaging and theoretical stuff where you don't need to you know, tinker with screencasting or anything.
Well, even with screencasting, like even with something like that, like if I'm going to do like a tutorial on how to make a thumbnail, I'll just open it up and just walk them through it and just make a thumbnail. And if I'm showing them how to do something in OBS, I'll just open up OBS and just walk them through it, because you know that's part of the whole thing. Like when you use all of these tools, you know what I mean? When you're using the tools and you become familiar with the tools, then you can just open them up and you know what's important. You know, hey, in this particular video, I'm going to talk about this aspect of this particular tool.
So what about when you're in the middle of your OBS tutorial and you like just went to the wrong place and you messed something up and all that? You edit all that stuff out?
Yeah, I'll just back it up and say it again.
Or and say it again. Okay. Yeah. So you don't stress about making it whole perfect and choreographing it and working it out like I do often, and that's where I find that I spend too much time. You know, it's one thing to think about the example through, and it's another thing to like practice it to make it perfect before you go and even press record, and then you know surprises still happen. So it's better to just go for it and fix on you as you go, just back up an inch and continue.
Yeah, the best tip that I can give as far as that's concerned is just record and just keep in mind that you're going to edit the video.
Yeah.
Right. Say, okay, well, I'm going to edit this, and so I'm just gonna steamroll this video. Yeah. And then I'm gonna work it all out in the edit, because you know after you make a nice handful of videos, you know, like how many videos do you have now, ballpark?
60 to 70.
Okay, so 60 to 70 videos, you have an idea of how the editing process works.
Oh yeah.
So you know that if I say this and it doesn't come out right, then I can just cut that part out. Absolutely. Or I can just stop and I can say that part again. Yeah. And then I'll use that one when it comes time to edit. Yeah. So once you get familiar with that, then it can really speed up the entire process, because you don't have to be really particular in what it is that you're focusing on, because you can just get it all out there and then come back in and fix it in the editing process.
Okay, so since you're willing to do the freewheeling style, do you ever feel like, oh man, I'm flubbing this take, or is that more when you're using the outline and you're doing something that's more specific in messaging, where you are like thinking about that outline point and then you're going to communicate it before you go to the next one? So
there's been times to where I just say, all right, it's not working right now. I'm gonna turn it off and I'm gonna go get a coffee.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have a time of day that you prefer to record when you know or is it just I need a coffee and I'm good to go?
For me personally, I prefer early evening, because for my brain, for whatever reason, usually because I've had coffee, I've eaten, you know, things like that. I've kind of went out and got my errands out of the way, so I don't really have a lot on my mind. So I can just go in and just go for it without having, you know, this extra, you know, noise going on in my brain.
Yeah. So it sort of goes to sleep, so it doesn't bother you. Okay. Whereas I, you know, if I'm not done by mid-afternoon recording, I just get more stressed, because I feel like, ooh, how long is this going to take? Right. I like to get it done a little earlier.
Yeah, that's understandable. Yeah, we all have, you know, some people, they prefer to record. I have a friend of mine. He records his videos at like 1 or 2 in the morning, because for him, you know, that's just where it happens to fit in and all that. It's not because, hey, I'm functioning
I'm fresh at 1.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with that.
It's more like the kids have gone to bed. Right. Whatever. I have my peace and quiet.
I've got
so
this
I can
hour.
Execute.
Right. I've got this hour. I'm going to utilize it.
Yeah. Okay, so now that you've got your recording done, it sounds like it's pretty fast and efficient to get to that stage, that you don't have all this pre-work like I may have, because I overdo things or overthink them. But now you've got the stuff done. Can you share a few tips about your editing process, like to how you get there quickly in your post-processing? Like what kind of things do you apply, and what kind of things like maybe that you library function, or you know, so that you can make the process efficient, and tell us about how you batch and
for me templating is huge. So basically, like when it comes time to edit my videos, basically I will I'll open up a new file from a template. So basically I have a folder structure within my video files, right? Okay. And in that folder structure, project. Yeah, it's a project folder list, basically. Yeah. So inside of that folder, I have it broken down. I have like audio, I have meta for the metadata, I have final, which is where the final video goes. I have stock, I have graphics, and I think that's it off the top of my head. And then underneath that, in the main root of that folder, I have the actual video file itself, and it's called change name.
Okay.
Right. So basically, what I do is I copy and paste that template file,
right.
and then inside of Vegas, I'll go in and I'll open up the change name file, and then I'll save it as whatever the name of the video is going to be, and then all of my intros in there, my lower thirds are in there, my remember to subscribe stuff is in there, my end card is in there, like everything is already in there. I've got a stack of music tracks that are in there, so I don't have to go and hunt down music tracks because I usually use the same stuff. Of course. So just that alone just shaves tons of time of going through your computer and trying to find everything.
And then you're just eliminating sort of what you don't want or turning on what you want, kind of thing.
Right.
Okay. And then so, how long does it typically take you? Like, what is the average length of your videos?
It changes per video, depending on, of course, what it is I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
But where it used to take me like 6-7 hours to do a video, I can now, if I'm on point, now I can usually get a video out. I can record it, edit it, and actually get it rendering within 3 hours.
Well, that's excellent.
Yeah.
So 3 hours. And then,
and that includes processing the audio and everything because of the process of templating. Even inside of my plugins, because I apply some plugins to my stuff also for coloring and things like that. Even with that, I have presets made in my audio editing software. I have presets made. Right. So basically, because I record in a studio environment. Now, if you're making vlogs or something like that, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for you because your environment's changing all the time. You know,
of course.
Even with
you have to pay a little more attention to the audio than when you. With each scenario
and the video and the video too. Like in your situation, you normally have a studio that you record in, but this video you're going to have to treat it a little bit differently because it's not in your studio.
Right. And in my studio, I already know how my color adjustments are going to be, my audio adjustments I already know, and I have often preset stuff, and it's just like applying to the tracks, and I'm done with a little tweaking.
Right.
If at all.
Right.
Yeah. But I see that. So that's pretty good. So that means
so templating is huge. Templating, using presets, all that stuff can really speed up your editing process in a huge way. Another thing that's great is depending on the type of content you make. If you make content that is all based around similar topics, and you know, hey, I'm probably going to use this particular piece of B-roll more than once, have a folder for it. Have a B-roll folder. Okay, inside of this B-roll folder, I have gear. I have happy people, I have sad people, I have frustrated people. Right, so that basically you have a list of the type of stuff that you normally use. Right. Just keep using the same stuff.
And you have it accessible just to bring in because of the way you templated the stuff. So Nick, what do you do for your batching to get your stuff done? Do you record do you batch your ideas? Like when you sit down, do you write a whole bunch of ideas at once? Or do you only apply your batching to doing your recording and editing? Can you just sort of explain?
Yeah, I batch the whole process. Like, basically, I have the actual video ideas. I'll batch that, and it's not always, even in the same day sometimes. Right. Like sometimes, I'll just sit down and I'll write down a bunch of different video ideas, and then I'll go in and I'll write down bullet points for those video ideas, and then the next day or a couple days later, or sometimes it'll just be the list of video ideas. And then, a couple days later, I'll go in and I'll do the bullet points for them. And then, when it's record day, then I'll have, let's say I do 3 videos at a time, or let's say I do 5 videos at a time, or something like that. So that every single time that I record, I can go ahead and get ahead on the queue.
So how long would you record if you batch? Is it like a 2-hour window? When
it
you
depends.
sit down?
It just depends on what else is going on. I just try to fit in what I can.
So you can stay fresh. Whatever. If you're inspired, boom, you'll go for hours.
Right. Sometimes I'll just record one video and call it a wrap. Other times I'll record 5, 6, 7, 8 videos. So it just kind of depends on what's going on and what I can fit in and how my brain feels too.
Okay, and likewise in the editing, because that's a much longer process than doing the recording.
Yeah.
Would you sit down and edit
I usually don't batch editings. I usually don't batch the edit. Like when it comes to editing, I'll usually do that one video at a time, just because it's like that part of it is just a longer, hey, I'm just like sitting here not doing anything type of process. So I like with the video part, I actually get charged recording videos. Like I get excited when I record videos. Okay. But when I'm editing videos, it's just kind of like I enjoy it. But it's just kind of like, okay, well, I'm just kind of sitting here.
When I'm in a chill mood, I can get into the editing, because it's more like work rather than performance based, in that sense.
Right.
So do you do your editing? Like you mentioned that to me that you like to record at a certain time of day. Likewise for editing, do you have a certain preferred time of day? Is it
with editing? I usually get it in where I can fit it. As far as like a strict, rigid schedule of edit, you know, this time from this time to this time, I don't do that. I would probably be more efficient if I did, but at this point in time, I don't do that.
Okay. And what's the one big obstacle you think that hangs up most people, that they take a long time to work through before they can take their editing to their whole process to the next level? What do you typically
having the courage to get started.
The courage to get started?
Yeah, I think having the courage to get started is the thing that people put off the most. I talked to a guy while we were here at Vid Summit who has been wanting to make videos for over a year. And yeah, he's been wanting to make videos for over a year, and he's just, you know, he's like, yeah, you know, well, I think, you know, when I get home, I'm going to make videos, and you know, I've learned a lot here at this summit, and I think because of that, you know, I think I'm a little bit more inspired. So I told him, I was like, don't wait till you get home, go upstairs, like right now, and go into your hotel room, turn on your phone, and go ahead and knock out that first video just to get going. Right?
Yeah.
And he did.
We all can masterfully make excuses, and I know when I first went live, you said, Gord, we're doing it right now, so you don't need to think about it anymore.
Right.
And even though we're working through these problems, that's okay, because people aren't going to crucify you. It's live.
Right.
And then when I accepted that, and then you got me over it, and I go like, okay, that wasn't so bad. And then it's like, okay, now we're going to do the interview, and it happened, you know, bang, bang. Whereas I was like ready to go, okay, Nick, you know, maybe we'll do that on Sunday, or we'll wait. And there was no need for it, so we sit in here so often.
Yeah.
And what about, you know, another thing is, for me, for the longest time, perfection's another thing, right?
Sure.
So
making everything like, oh, everything has to be perfect. That's another humongous hang-up, because you know, like, you know, we all want things to be as good as they can be. You know, we all want to present ourselves as good as we possibly can. We all want people to respond to our stuff as good as we can make that happen. And because of that, you know, a lot of times we just keep on whittling on something that we should just say, okay, well, this one's done. I'm going to render this one out, and I'm going to start working on the next one.
Right. So
you know what I mean?
This relates to also the idea of, you know, quality versus quantity, and over time you would have that changed, didn't that evolve?
Right.
Your perspective on what meant quality and what, like,
it's balanced, because quality is definitely important, but quantity is also important. So you have to find that line of, okay, well, does this video need 12 different animated graphic slides? Right? Are people still going to watch this video if I don't have 12 different graphic slides? Where I would normally put this animated graphic slide, if I just make one image, drop it in there, and just have a slow push zoom on it, will that do the trick?
Yeah, instead of having to work out a fancy
something to break up
animation.
the scene, instead of you know, trying to put in all this extra work, making stuff fly around the screen all over the place. And in addition to that, like B-roll, a lot of times can take the place of graphics as well.
What I've realized, it doesn't matter how many animations or how few I put in. I've never had a complaint either way about that I put too much stuff in.
Hey, what are you doing, Gord?
Little.
What are you doing, Gord? These are way. You didn't put in enough animations, buddy. I'm out of here. Right.
Exactly. And you know, when you think about it, if people aren't complaining and they're watching your videos, then maybe it's just you doing something to satisfy the artistic you.
Yeah.
Really, what the audience.
Let's just call it what it is. It's our ego.
We love to create.
Right.
It's like, to me, it's about satisfying also that artist in us that is maybe a selfish thing that the audience doesn't need, and it doesn't mean it's any less quality, the message of what we're delivering.
Right.
Okay. Is there one final parting message you want to leave with everyone? You know, about making sure that they get committed to adding efficiency to their process. Like, what would be like one conscious thing to be aware of it as you work?
Just start right now. Like, say, okay, well, I need to make everything more efficient. Start doing it right now. Start figuring it out right now. Or if, hey, I need to start making videos, or I want to start making videos, start doing it right now. Hey, I need to get off of scripts and start using bullet points. Start doing that right now. Hey, I need to start using templates. Do it right now. Sit down and figure out, okay, well, how do I put a template together? What do I have to do in order to make all this stuff happen so I can put out more content?
Because the amazing thing to me about all of this is, we really, in order to keep our channels going and thriving, we have to produce so much content, and being hung up and delaying and waiting. You know, we're going to go through a few bad ones till we figure it out.
Sure.
And not to say that bad that it's crappy, but maybe it's not to where we want it.
It's not your personal standard.
Yeah.
Right. Or it's like right on that line where it's like, you know what, this is good enough. It's not like the best stuff I've ever done. Yeah. But it's, you know what, it just needs to get up there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great point.
Yeah.
Just keep moving forward.
Right. Videos sitting on your hard drive don't help anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So true. Well, that was great, Nick. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gord. It's been awesome. It's been awesome hanging out with you. So, in case you don't know this, Gord and I, we actually came to Vid Summit. That's how we were able to meet. We came to Vid Summit, and the last few days, we took some extra days, both of us, and we've been running around LA. We went and saw a movie. We went and saw the Hollywood sign and Hollywood Boulevard and all that stuff. Took some pictures by the stars and all, you know, the Hollywood Walk of Fame and all that stuff, and we've been having a blast. Yeah. I've enjoyed hanging out with you. It's been awesome.
And it's funny, you know, we all have this impression of what the person's like based on our virtual experience, be it in Facebook, watching their videos. And, you know, it was just, you know, such a joy for me to be able to meet, you know, Nick here and others at the summit. And it just makes me feel that much better about the whole YouTuber community, because I was really impressed with how open and unpretentious the whole community is. And that just makes it, you know, so much more enjoyable to be a part of the community.
Absolutely, it does.
So, Nick, how does everyone find you?
You can find me at nicknimmin.com, or if you want to learn how to grow your channel, make videos, and all types of other YouTube-related stuff, go to youtube.com/nicknimmin. Gord will have a card somewhere or a link down in the description, and that is NickNimmin.
Awesome. And everybody, I'd love for you to share with me your thoughts on how you enjoyed this sort of like interview style tips, where I have a special talent like a Nick Nimmin on that. Should I do more of this? And share in the comments below your feedback. And it was a great experience to do this, and we'll see you next time.